Our search to understand the real problem of why people can't find deep love continues from the age of marriage and into the age of divorce. The 1970s gave us one of the most interesting cocktails ever created. It's a drink called Partnership on the Rocks. The 1970s, right up until the 21st century, becomes the age of divorce. Why? Well, in the 60s and through the 70s and 80s, women's lib changes the social landscape. Women become educated. They start working at careers. They become financially independent. They become more empowered in every aspect of their life. From the previous segments, what did we learn about the reason people married in the 50s? They married because of security, right? Now all of a sudden in the 70s, women don't need that security. If we combine that with a change in law that permits no-fault divorces, what do you think happens? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. The age of marriage folds like a cheap tent. The divorce rate skyrockets. It goes from a low of 22% to over 50%. You know what else happens? People begin to search for relationships based on love. Unfortunately, the age of divorce couples look for relationships of love using the same dating ideals that they used in the 50s to find partnerships. They met, they matched, they learned to adapt, they married, they mismatched, and they ended in divorce. Met, matched, learned to adapt, married, mismatched, and ended in divorce. What that means is that, like the 1950s couples, the 70s couples met. When they did, they focused on what matched. They learned to adapt to what didn't match, and they married. After marrying, they found out that their mismatches way outweighed their matches, and their relationships ended in divorce. So here's something for you to write down. We marry because of our similarities, but we divorce because of our differences. Because the age of divorced couples continue to use that same pattern, meet, match, learn to adapt, marry, mismatch, and end in divorce, the divorce rate remains high right up through to today. What's the takeaway? The takeaway is that even though there are big social shifts in not putting up with these bad relationships, and now that unhappy married couples can get divorced, we still follow that same dating pattern of meet, match, learn to adapt, marry, mismatch, and end in divorce, and we end up marrying the wrong person. And that results in the divorce rate remaining high right up until the 21st century. And up next, in our next segment, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the relationship expert in the 21st century. We're going to talk about the coronation of relationship science. That's coming up next.